It started on a quiet, stormy night, the kind of storm where the wind whispers through the cracks and the rain dances relentlessly on the windows. Our protagonist, a 21-year-old living in his first basement studio apartment, was excited. In a few hours, he'd meet his girlfriend for the first time in person. But that night, the excitement turned into something else entirely, something he'd never forget. As he lay there, killing time on his gaming console, a soft tap-tap-tap broke through the sound of the storm. It came from the window, right in front of his bed. At first, he thought it was just the wind or maybe a branch. But as the minutes stretched on, the tapping became deliberate, rhythmic. He hesitated, his pulse quickening. What could it be? Texting his girlfriend to ease his nerves, he joked about hallucinating. But deep down, he couldn't shake the growing sense that he wasn't alone. The tapping stopped briefly. Relieved, he tried to sleep. Yet, just as he closed his eyes, it returned faster, louder. This time, it wasn't just tapping. It sounded like someone or something was trying to open the window. He had to know if it was real. Sliding off his bed, he moved to a chair across the room. Turning off his device, he waited in silence. The tapping stopped. Slowly, he turned it back on. And there it was again, tap, 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 as if the sound was responding to his actions. This was no coincidence. He wasn't imagining it. As dawn approached, the storm quieted, but the fear didn't. Now, with the first light of day creeping in, he noticed something he hadn't seen before. A shadow moved, slow and deliberate, just outside the window. It wasn't a tree, nor an animal. This was something much bigger, much heavier. He froze, barely breathing, as the shadow loomed closer. Panicking, he called his grandma, his only lifeline at that moment. She urged him to call 911. Trembling, he obeyed. As he stayed on the line with the dispatcher, the shadow outside grew more frantic, its movements erratic. Then came the sound like nails scraping against the glass. He wanted to run, but where could he go? When the police arrived, they searched the area thoroughly. But they found nothing, no footprints, no disturbed earth. It was as if whatever had been outside his window simply vanished. They reassured him it was probably just an animal or his imagination. But deep down, he knew better. He felt it watching him. The rest of the day passed uneventfully, and his girlfriend arrived safely. But the memory of that night lingered. He couldn't help but wonder. What would have happened if he'd opened the blinds? To this day, he's certain of one thing: whatever was out there wasn't human.